Buckle up, Marvel fans. This one's freaking awesome. It's also a way bigger deal than most people realize. Yesterday, an insider, Cryptic HD Quality, put a tweet out about how there was a plan for Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, to work with Kang. Here it is right here, the tweet that broke the internet. It says, Miguel's knowledge and experience with the multiverse, Spider-Verse, would have seen a Kang variant forming an alliance with him. Power for Kang, stability for Miguel. Sometime back, I heard that Marvel wanted this alliance, but Sony thought Miguel was a huge ask. And it goes on to say, though this is most likely not happening again, you know why. I heard Miguel O'Hara is still on the table and that there's a great possibility he could make it into live action in the near future with the new team. Okay, so Miguel O'Hara, right? The guy you see in Across the Spider-Verse that was in charge of all of those different Spider-Men that were policing the timeline. Essentially, that character was going to be brought into live action, and it was eventually going to be revealed that that character was working with a Kang variant, linking him to Kang the Conqueror and the Marvel multiverse, which was being built out in the MCU. Here's my first reaction to this. Damn it, Sony. Why? Why can't you let anything cool happen? Instead of having Spider-Man 2099 in live action, you want to do the man. There's actually way more to this than you would think. This is super revealing. This shows what Marvel and Sony have been talking about, why Marvel has wanted to build that connection. And I think when you really think about it, like, you can understand how this thought process is going to translate to what they're actually going to do now. And I think that will include a lot of villains and maybe heroes that have to do with the multiverse. But first, let's talk about why this didn't happen, right? Sony says it's a big ask. And according to Cryptic HD, that's the deal. And that is crazy talk, because I think it's a big ask to ask fans to get invested in a Spider-Man multiverse story without Spider-Man. But I mean, to be fair to Sony, Miguel's a very popular character. He's become even more popular after what they did with Across the Spider-Verse. So I can see from their perspective why this would be a big ask to allow Miguel to maybe then be in the MCU, or to really be something that they would have to share with Marvel because of these plans. And it seems like Sony's doing that Sony thing where they're like, yeah, that's a great idea, Kevin. We'll take it from here and do it completely differently. Because according to Cryptic HD, Sony has plans to do live action Miguel, and he could be showing up actually relatively soon on a new team. So let's talk about that for a second. Like, where could Miguel actually show up? Well, we've heard that Sony actually has plans to do something multiversal with Andrew Garfield, with Tobey Maguire, and potentially with Tom Holland as well. And so it could be the case that Miguel will be brought into something like Spider-Man 4, or maybe another Sony multiverse thing where they actually get the Spider Boys together. Because right now it seems like Marvel has a plan. They want to use Tom Holland. They really want to use Tobey Maguire, and likely want to use Andrew Garfield as well. And Sony likely will give them the ability to do that, but they're probably going to ask for those actors to also then be in something Sony. At least that's kind of what it seems like. So maybe Miguel is a part of that project. But I actually hope that he's being saved for a different project. I want him to be in the Nick Cage Spider-Man Noir Amazon Prime show, because that show is setting up a suite of shows that will be on Amazon Prime that are like their own shared universe. It's like a new Sony Marvel universe with Amazon Prime shows. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller are the guys that are running that. And they have run the Across the Spider-Verse stuff. And that is just so much better than what Sony's doing in the live action stuff. So obviously it would be better to have those guys controlling the live action Miguel. But like, going back to why this fell apart and what the plan is now, I think what's happened is Sony has shifted to using the symbiotes. They want to use Venom, and they want to set up a multiversal thing with Venom, because this is obviously set up in Spider-Man No Way Home, and there are massive rumors that Tom Holland is going to get that little bit of the symbiote in his fourth movie, and he will essentially have the black suit or the symbiote suit. And I've even heard stuff about how, like, that's how they want Peter Parker to be in Secret Wars, in Avengers 5, with the black suit, which is super iconic because the black suit first shows up in Jim Shooter's original Secret Wars comic. And for me, it's also just awesome, dude, because I want to see Tom Holland with the symbiote suit. And if we're in the multiverse, if he's fighting against crazy variants or maybe Beyonder Kang or Doctor Dooms and shit, like, hell yeah, give that boy the symbiote, man. Let him be powered up. And there's also that weird shot in the trailer of Venom disappearing again, this time from his own universe, just like he did at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. And I've actually been told that could be Venom going out into the multiverse looking for Tom Holland or looking for a Spider-Man. Basically, whatever Marvel and Sony are now doing to kind of have a connection that maybe they can use for Secret Wars or the multiverse, instead of Miguel O'Hara, I strongly feel it's Venom now, but Sony is going to use Miguel for like their own thing. So again, we'll see how that all shakes out. Now, when it comes to Kevin Feige, this news right here about Miguel and Kang is really revealing. It shows that he's thinking about characters that have a connection to the multiverse, that have knowledge of the multiverse, and he was thinking about having Kang or variants of Kang working with those characters. So this could be your Reed Richards. This could be the Maker, who's an evil version of Reed Richards. This could be the Britain Corps, the Captain Britain Corps, who deals with the multiverse. This could be Doctor Doom, who's like the guy that first creates time travel in the Marvel Comics universe and sees into the future and then, you know, becomes Doom because he wants to have a better outcome for the universe. It's just super fun to think about Kevin Feige in a meeting with people at Sony and literally being like, so what if we had Miguel O'Hara be something like an anti-hero and he's dealing with the multiverse a little bit like what you guys did in Across the Spider-Verse, and then he's eventually working for Kang, so maybe we then have them all in Secret Wars together. And even though Sony did that Sony thing where they were like, Kevin, that's a great idea, we're gonna take it and do it horribly, like, it's still cool. It's cool, and it means that's something he's trying to do. And I think due to some new comments from Alex Perez, that's likely what he's doing now with just MCU characters. Alex Perez recently said that Marvel Studios wants to do other multiversal villains or villains from the multiverse before they quote unquote deal with Kang again. And to be honest, there's still a lot of mystery about what exactly Marvel Studios is doing with Kang. Are they replacing him or not? But it seems to me, due to these comments by Alex and due to a lot of the reports like this one about Miguel, I believe Kevin is going to bring in other villains that have a connection to the multiverse, and they're going to be fighting against heroes, fighting around the multiverse as the Beyonder Kang goes to do something. And although this part is speculation, I strongly feel this will have to do with the Beyonder Kang essentially offering up pieces of the universe to different heroes that like they could rule in exchange for those heroes or villains helping the Beyonder Kang basically distract the Avengers while he goes to do this thing. And I've kind of come around to believing that this will be the death of eternity and the destruction of the space between the different universes within the multiverse. And that would make it so every single universe just pops together in one massive universe where all these different variants and all these different versions of heroes and villains will now exist without barriers between them. I guess what I'm really saying is this story with Miguel and the plan that Kevin Feige had here is part of the reason why I think you're still going to get a bunch of proxy villains or people that are working technically for Beyonder Kang that will operate within the next couple of years of the multiverse, perhaps even into Secret Wars. Because again, like, dude, Secret Wars is fun because it's a ton of villains versus a ton of heroes. And we've heard, you know, maybe they're going to do Avengers Forever stuff. And the 2022 Avengers Forever is like the original Secret Wars, but with a ton of awesome variants of these different heroes and of these different villains. It's like juicing up the thing that was already juicy when Jim Shooter first did Secret Wars. It sucks that it's not happening, but it's cool that it was an actual possibility. It just shows me that like the imagination and the creativity that's going on over there when it comes to this multiverse stuff is epic. And I really still believe it's going to be freaking fantastic. What do you think about this, man? Would you want this to happen? Do you think there's a possibility of it still happening? What project do you hope that live action Miguel O'Hara pops up in? And what do you think about these villains and these different characters working for Beyonder Kang and my theory about Eternity War? I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.